everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a quick video on how to do a glitter ombre with chunky glitter. First off, I'm working with a 17-ounce hog, so it's kind of a small cup. I always prep my cups. I sand them until it gets that little coat off the stainless steel so it's no longer shiny, and then I wash it with dish soap and I dry it. And then I will go out and spray paint my base coat to match whatever glitter I'm doing. So today I'm using this bright yellow super fine glitter, and so I matched it as well as I could. I noticed that if I apply my glitter with Loctite and I have a painted base coat to match my glitter, it uses way less glitter. I can usually get away with one coat. So I'm going to take a break here and go spray this and get my glitter on it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I sprayed it with Loctite. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my fine glitter on. So I just glitter over the whole thing. This is the way I find works best for me, is to glitter the whole thing in the solid color and then apply my chunky using the epoxy method. Make sure you get the bottom real well, and I usually stick it in the bottom there. Okay, and that is one coat of a glitter right there, and I really don't need any more. The coverage is just perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to let my cup sit for a while and dry, probably about 30 minutes, and I'll check it and make sure it's not sticky, and then I will go ahead and apply the epoxy and get my chunky on there. Okay, I've mixed my epoxy, and I mixed about 30 ml, which will be way too much for this cup, but I'll just use the excess for keychain molds or something. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the whole cup. Let me turn this on. And when you're using epoxy, don't forget to wear PPE, gloves, mask, all your protection. Now, I notice too when I use super fine glitter, if I seal it with my Rust-Oleum 2x clear and then I let it dry and I apply my epoxy, I don't need sanding at all. If you apply enough epoxy, not too much, but just enough to cover it so you can't feel anything, and then after I apply my chunky and I let it sit, then it's ready for decaling. Okay, I've got to get some on the bottom. I always put it on my finger because I tend to waste too much when I pour it. You know, this bottom's a little different compared to most of the cups. It kind of goes in. And then now I've got it pretty much covered. I just want to make sure that I've got every single spot covered. It's one reason gloves are nice, because you can feel where you've missed. Okay, so I'm going to let this spin for about 15 to 20 minutes and let the epoxy set up a little bit, and that way when I apply my chunky, it won't move too much. If I applied it right now, the chunky would crawl its way up to the top of the tumbler, and you don't want that. Okay, it's been turning for about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to sprinkle on my chunky glitter. I'm going to go a little heavier at the bottom, and then sprinkle with my fingers when I get closer to the top. Now, I'm not going to be taking this chunky up super high, because the customer wants a phrase on it that's going to be really long, so it's going to take up most of the cup. But this will kind of give you an idea of how it works. So I do kind of a thick line at the bottom and try and cover my edges. extra off there. Okay, so now I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pinch a little bit in my fingers and start to kind of go over where I stopped and then go up a little bit. So it scatters it instead of giving you a really hard line. I don't want to go up too much higher. I gotta have a couple miscellaneous ones spread out so it doesn't look like there's a hard line anywhere. Takes me a little while to do this. I'm picky. Okay, that's probably about as high as I can go. Filling a few more of the spots that look too yellow. Now in this chunky glitter there is little tiny pieces that I try and pinch and scatter. Kind of makes it look, gives it a little bit of a better ombre. Okay, but I can see one that I don't like. It's up too high. That spot right there. Okay. So then I don't like the one spot. Let me turn it back around. I don't like this little one right here. I'll just take that off there. And then there's one more, a big one. That one's up a little high. So I can just reposition a few the way I want them. That one's up a little high by itself. There's one way. Where'd the other one go? I must have got it. Okay, and then what I do for the edges, if you have some that are sticking up or out, well, first I'll just put some miscellaneous. I don't do the whole bottom because I hate epoxying the bottoms because sometimes it takes so much and then they get uneven, and so I just give it a little accent on the bottom and just put a little bit. And then I take my popsicle stick and I tap down anything that's laying or that's not laying flat, I kind of get down on my knees and I kind of look and tap them down. Like some of these go over the edge, so I either push it back up or I pull it down to the bottom so that my edges won't be rough and I won't have to do any sanding. Like this one's sticking up right here, and I'll just bring it down. So most of them are laying pretty flat. I have a couple that are being weird. This one just does not want to lay down. I don't know what that is all about. Okay. Yeah. It's attached to another one, so I gotta get that off my cup. So I'm just gonna take that out of there. Okay, so for the most part, they all look pretty flat. I got a couple that are being stubborn, but it's the ones that the glitter is two pieces stuck together and they're sticking out. So let's see here. Make sure most of them are tapped down. I got a couple on the edge here I can bring around or push up. I'm so picky when it comes to my chunky glitter. This takes me more time than anything. Okay, well that looks good enough on the edges, except for this little guy right here. There's a couple more. There we go. That should be pretty good. And that way, when I go to epoxy, it should be pretty smooth. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm going to just let that spin for probably about 5 or 6 hours, and then I will take it off the turner and put it on my drying rack. And then probably the next day I will go ahead and do my decals and my final coat of epoxy. Before I go, I wanted to share this with you. I thought this stuff is really neat. It's made by Artworks at the Craft Attack. It's called Epoxy Scrub. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I'll tell you, I get epoxy on everything. My hands, even if I have gloves on, I always get epoxy somewhere. This will get it out of your hair. It will get it off your skin, and it's really neat. You just put a little bit on and get it wet. Let's see if I can. This one is cherry buttercream, and they all smell so incredible. So, oh gosh, that smells good. Okay, so go ahead and check out the links in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.